So I have my ring light on and I don't really know if it like makes a difference because I'm already sitting like right in front of the sun, but whatever. In one of my previous videos I brought up copaganda and small town romances, and so many people like commented on that and you guys loved it, and I was like, you know what, let me make a separate video about that. I love think pieces and I love lapping, as we all know. That's why you're here, right? So today we're going to talk about copaganda and small town romances because I brought it up briefly. I talked about in my last video how the reason why I didn't read the Lucy Score book, I couldn't think of the author's name. Now I can't think of the title of the book, but you know what, I'm going to be a good YouTuber today and I'm going to give you the name of the book. Things We Never Got Over by Lucy Score. So I've never read this book, but I know what it's about. It's about this girl who moves to this small town to help her sister with something, and then like she ends up running into like the town sheriff and like falling in love with him. And a reason why I didn't want to read this one is because, one, it is 500 pages. I feel like there is no reason for this book to be 500 pages. I mean, I've never read it, but I just feel like there's no reason for it to be 500 pages. I don't want to read a romance. Like, I feel like I really got to be convinced to me to read a romance that's over 350 pages. Like, for real. Another reason why I didn't want to read it is because I just felt like it just had like such propaganda. I don't think in this video I'm really going to go into like police brutality and like things like that. It's literally gonna be like how I feel about propaganda in small town romances. I just feel like I just noticed a trend in like these small town romances where suddenly like everybody's like dating a sheriff, and I'm just like, what's that about? I want to go look into these books so I can get better examples. There is a whole subgenre of small town sheriff romances, which I think is like insane. Like, I don't know, like I already feel like my issue with small town romances is that I just feel like they are so white and they aren't inclusive to like black people. Now, I don't think that like if you don't feel comfortable writing black people, then don't. I don't think that like every author needs to write black people. If that's not your forte, then don't write it, because I don't need you fucking it up. That's my reasoning. I don't need you messing it up and now you're getting canceled on TikTok and Twitter because you done had this character, you done named this character a racist name, or you done had somebody say a microaggression to a character that you didn't even know was a microaggression. Like, we don't have time for that, right? So if you feel like you're not equipped to write a black character, then don't. But with that being said, I also don't have a problem with white authors writing black characters. I personally don't see an issue with it. I feel like as long as it's well researched and you don't put anything problematic in it, then like sure, that's fine, whatever. It doesn't even need to be a main character. I don't think that like white authors need to be writing main characters. Like, if they did, like, it's whatever to me personally. Like, if you don't like it, then like that's totally fine. I totally get why you wouldn't like it, but for me personally, like, as long as you're not writing no weird shit, like, I think that's fine. But I think a lot of authors know that they aren't equipped to it. Like, I was reading Elsie Silver and I don't think she has any sheriff romance books. I haven't made it that far, but I like couldn't keep reading because I'm like, bruh, this is just so white. Like, it's just so white. Same thing with the Lila Sage. Like, I just couldn't keep reading it. Like, and that's my issue with also cowboy romances, is that I just feel like they're so white. And like, yes, I have read some black authors, yeah, but like, you know, I like to read everything. I like to read what's popular, and what I notice is like from the authors that are popular, like, they're just so fucking white. Like, they don't even have like black side characters. Like, there's just no black people like in their town whatsoever, and to me that just isn't realistic. But also, I guess I don't think there's any town that just has no people of color whatsoever and you're just absolutely surrounded by white people. But also, like, I don't live in those spaces, so I can't really speak for that. That's just like what I think, and I could be wrong, because for the most, like, you know, I'm wrong sometimes, like very rarely, but you know, sometimes I can be wrong. I just feel like, I don't know, like, I just don't like small town romances because I just don't feel like they're inclusive. Like, they just are so white, and they don't even need to have black characters. But girl, can you get a little bit of color in there? Like, no Native American characters, like no Latina characters, no Asian characters. Like, y'all just all white up in this bitch. Like, that's just absolutely crazy to me. And I just feel like when I'm reading those books, like when I'm reading those small town books or those cowboy books, I just feel like, would these characters call me a slur? When I read Done and Dusted, I was literally sitting there thinking, there is at least one character in here who would call me a slur. Like, if my black self walked into this town, would these characters start hitting me with microaggressions and looking at me weird and staring at me the whole time and possibly maybe calling me a slur? Like, that's how I feel when I read in these books. And it's like, it's just so hard for me to read like a series where all the characters are like white, and especially like romance series. Like it's just so hard for me, especially when I read such diverse genres like monster romances. Like I love monster romances. I bring up monster romances in every fucking romance video because monster romances are just that, girl, and I highly recommend them. They're so inclusive. They're inclusive to people of color, disabilities, they're inclusive to sexualities. Like I've read some freaky ass shit and felt included in every sense of the way, and that's what the fuck I'm talking about. Monster romances are one of my favorite romances because everybody is gonna be included in this. Like there will be a series with like 4 white characters, and then there'll be a black character. Like it'll be a series with, you know, like it'll be like female, like there'll be like a woman love woman. There'll be like a sapphic relationship, right? There'll be like 4. I once read a monster romance where 4 women. It was 4 women, all of them falling in love with each other. Where do you see that at? Where do you see that at? Let me know, okay? Because I'm not seeing that anywhere besides monster romances. And I'm not saying that cowboy romances need to get gay. Well, I'm not saying it. It's not just small town romances and cowboy romances that I just feel like lack diversity. Like it's like literally anywhere. Like it's just so crazy. Like I just don't like I want to like Elsie Silver so bad, but then I'm reading it and I'm like, this is just so white, you guys. Like there's just like no people of color up in this bitch, like nobody. And I'm not saying that you need to write a person of color main character. Like you can literally have like a side character that like is in all the books because all the friends are connected. That's like a person of color. That's like queer. I would love that. I'm not saying you gotta write like a black character like and have her own book. I'm not saying that at all. But it's just like so unrealistic to me. And maybe it's realistic to them. I don't know. And it's just also crazy that like they don't think about that. Like they can just write these romances and not think about that. But like I'm not yucking your yum. I'm not trying to make anybody feel guilty. Like if you are a person of color, if you are queer and you love reading these, then shout out to you. Like I love that for you. I'm not judging you. I'm not saying that like you shouldn't be reading these or whatever. It's just my problem with them. And I still read them, and I'm probably still gonna read more Elsie Silver because I have FOMO when it comes to popular books. That's my problem. So it's like I'm not yucking anybody's yum. I'm not saying if you read these you're a terrible person. I'm just saying like that's my issue with them. But I just feel like shit. I just feel like there's so many like sheriff romances. Like for instance, Indigo Ridge by Devney Perry. I actually read this one and I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. I think this one was a little bit, what intrigued me about this one is there's like a little murder mystery going on in here. It kind of felt like a Lifetime movie if I'm being honest. But like this one is definitely like sheriff. And also Devney Perry, she wrote a book under her pen name. Willa Nash. Okay, that was her pen name is Willa Nash, and she wrote a small town romance once again, and that one also, what was it called, The Bride, I think. That one also was a sheriff romance. Actually, they read the same, they were like the same book actually, and I don't know what the fuck is the point of writing a pen name if you're gonna write the same tropes under the pen name. I don't know. She hasn't written under her pen name in a minute, so maybe. But I didn't finish the series. Is called The Edens or The Edens. I don't know. I didn't finish the series. I only read Indigo Ridge because I was like, man, this feels exactly like the book under her pen name. So why would I keep reading these? But like, I just don't. Oh, I don't see anything special. Like she keeps writing small town romances, and I just don't like. Small town romances are fun. But like when it's the main trope, like when that's the main driving force, that's just not fun to me. Like I love the Brown sisters, and my favorite Brown sister book is the last one. I think it's Act Your Age, Eve Brown, and that one is a small town romance where she like moves to this small town and she ends up like going to like this B&B and like applying to like work there. I feel like that works for me because like the main thing about the book isn't that like it's like, I don't know, like I just don't understand like why small town romance is a trope, because it's a setting. So it's like I don't understand like why this setting is a trope. And like yes, I love the coziness of a small town. Like I live in a small town. I love living in a small town. I love watching small town TV shows. But I just feel like small town romances don't capture the essence of small towns, because like, okay, right now I'm currently watching Ransom Canyon. White as fuck, and I am contradicting myself. It's white as fuck, but it got a good plot going on. Like, yes, the main thing that everyone's fucking with is the romance. I don't give a fuck about the romance, actually. The plot is what's keeping me seated. I love anything with like drama and tea, and so far it has that, and so I'm fucking with it, okay? And what I like about it, what drives me to it, is that it doesn't just follow the main character. Like, there's a character in the poster that obviously that's the main character, but it doesn't just follow her. It follows 3 other characters, and they have like different, they're not connected to each other. Well, they are connected to each other, but not all 3. Well, actually it follows like 6, it follows a bunch of characters, right? And you get a little bit of everybody's lives, and that's what I like about it. Like, same thing with Sweet Magnolias. It's not extremely white, because it does have a black character in there, and she has a black romance, so it's not like extremely white, but it's very corny. It got renewed for a season 5. I don't know how. I'd be sad because that Ty and Annie ship, oh, childhood friends to lovers ship, eats fucking down. So I am sad, like, right? And I love it because it follows 3 different women. They grew up together, and now they're moms. Some of them are moms. They're all adults. They have this, like, I don't remember what Sweet Magnolias was. Like, it was like a girl, I don't remember what Sweet Magnolias was. Like, it was like a store, a B&B, some candle shop. I don't fucking remember what it was. But like, they were opening that, they were working on that together. One of them had a restaurant. Like, they just were like successful adult women navigating, like, having children, being friends. They also are Christian, so their faith, which I just find it all fascinating. Despite it being corny, it's kind of bad. But what I like about it is that it follows different characters. And you don't just follow those 3. You follow the kids. That's why I ship Ty and Annie, because like, their trope is so good, because you follow them. And then you follow like the younger kids. And then you follow, like, there's like one of the characters, she's I feel like she's like a lawyer, I think, or something like that. And she goes to the school to like teach the kids like about like being a lawyer, and they do like this mock trial, and there's this popular girl that's like really smart, but she never wants to put herself into it, and she can't because you find out she has stuff going on at home, and like, she's not even like, she's nowhere near being anywhere in the kid. And like, that's what I like about small town romances, is that it follows the town. I feel like in these small town romances, you're following like the characters in these towns, and like, yeah, like, they'll go to a shop, and like, they'll go to like a restaurant, and like, blah 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 blah. I'm gonna bring up All Roads Lead here again. I talked about it in my like 400-page book should be illegal video, because I had just read it, and that's, even though I talk shit about the books, like, I actually really like this book. Like, this book is beat the fuck up. Like, I don't know, like, I've never read a book like this. Like, I really enjoyed this book. This is a small town romance, and what I love about All Roads Lead here is that you get like side character plots. Like, if you didn't watch my last video, I'm gonna briefly explain to you what it's about. So All Roads Lead here is about this woman who just got divorced, and she was like really putting in the work for her husband, and he left her, so she decides she wants to go back to her hometown of Colorado. I think that's what it is. So she ends up, there's this guy who's like offering like place in like his shed or some shit like that. So she ends up getting there, and when she gets there, it turns out the guy had no knowledge of it, and it was actually his son who was renting it out to her. So he's not fucking with it, but she already paid, and like blah blah blah. She ends up staying there. She ends up getting a job at like the store that her best friend from high school worked at. And what I love about this book is you get the best friend from high school, like, you get what she got going on in her life, her little romance, and then also the son, he's actually best friends with the son actually knows the niece of the main character's like childhood best friend, and so they're actually best friends. So you have like that going on, and then you have Road and like his life and like what he got going on. So that's what I like about it. It's like, it's not just the main character and the love interest and like what they got going on. It follows like the side, it doesn't follow, but you get stuff from like the side character, and the intentions isn't to later give the side character her own spin-off book, because this is just one singular book. But like in a lot of other small town romances, they get away with it because you have like this side character that's gonna get a romance in a little bit, like in like the next book or the book after that. So like they get away with like maybe getting a little bit of their tea because like they're gonna get a book later. But that's not it. Like, what happens to the town drunk? Where is the couple in the town? The man is like, you know, they're always breaking up, they're super toxic, and everybody's like, when are we gonna break up? What happened to running into somebody that you either hated or liked in high school in like the random ass Target? Also, as someone from a small town, I'm from an extremely small town, we don't have a Target, we don't have a Walmart. Like, there are things that we don't have. So I would love to read, like, we don't have like many bookstores. I would love to like hear like the struggles of like living in a small town, sometimes not having what other towns have, because there are also small towns where you have to like drive into the city, so you don't have things in your town. And I would love for it to just have more like we have like a rival, we rival like another small town. Like, I would love like for like characters to go to a football game for some reason, and like it's like a high school football game, and they're like, there's like this beef that's been going on between these two towns for some reason. Or like the struggles of, there's not shit to do in small towns a lot. Or like for me, I have my favorite ice cream shop that I always go to, that I've been going to since I'm a kid, and I'm emotionally attached to it a little bit, and if something were to ever happen to it, I might just kill myself. And like, I would love for like that to be explored more. Like, I just think that my main issue with small town romances is that it never encapsulates what it's actually like to be in a small town. You don't know what the fuck is going on with like these random ass side characters. You only get the characters that's gonna get like a romance in like 2-3 books, but you don't get like the town. Like, it's just like so boring to me, and it's not like accurate. I love living in a small town, and like even if I move out of this small town, I'm probably gonna live in another small town, because I just love living in a small town. I love the community, I love the closeness. Like, I love my local library, I love my local movie theater. I don't give a fuck at the fact that like if I go to either or, I can run into somebody from high school. I don't care, because I don't care about those people. But there are people out there who do care about that. There's this plot line in Ransom Canyon where one of the characters wants to get out of that town because her mom never left, and she's just like so upset with her mom that her mom never got to like explore the world. And like, so like she wants to leave, and like that happens a lot, and like with a lot of people, like a lot of people don't like their small towns, and so they want to like move out of their small towns and move to like the big city or move somewhere else. And like, I would love for like characters like that. Like, that kind of happened in All Roads Lead Here, where the main character like left to go live that big city girl life, and then she came back years later. Like, I love that. Like, why aren't we exploring that more often? Why do we have like I'm sorry, this video was supposed to be like about copaganda, but it ended up just being me ranting about small towns. But I mean, I guess there's not too much to say about copaganda, because it's just like, that is what it is. Big reason why I don't read small town romances is because a lot of them have the main character getting with the sheriff, and I just don't find any appeal to that. Like, in All Roads Lead Here, I think he was like a firefighter, and I thought that was very fascinating, and it helped with the plot. It's just like Maureen Espada knows what the fuck she's doing, and a lot of authors need to take note. Like, I don't know what the fuck these authors be writing about in their small town romances for 400 pages, but it don't be shit. I love, like, and I don't remember what small town romance I was reading, but it like played on like Gilmore Girls and like the crazy town that they lived in, and how like every time they had a town meeting, like it would just get really fucking crazy. Like, there's a small town romance that I read that like did that. Or I would love if they did one like Parks and Rec, where like every time they held like a Parks and Rec meeting, like for the community, it just got fucking crazy. Like, someone would say something crazy. There was like this ongoing joke where like there was one character who would like try to get people to be like, you know, who would try to get people to be like an angry mob, and he would be like, we want this, like we want this, and like nobody would join in on it until the last season when like everybody joined in on it. Like, I want fun stuff. I want fun in my small town romances. I don't want to read about you falling in love with the sheriff, because I don't care. I don't care about the sheriff. Okay? He's evil. I don't know. It's just not fun. It's just not fun. Yeah. That's my opinion on small town romances. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.